The bright light from the alien ship lit up the night sky over Washington, D.C. After 50 years of sending signals into space, humanity finally had its answer. They were not alone. John Miller stood at the window of the White House, watching the enormous vessel hover silently above the National Mall. The ship was beautiful in a strange way, smooth silver metal that seemed to glow from within, shaped like a giant teardrop. Nothing like the clunky spacecraft humans had built. "Ambassador Miller, they're ready for you," said a young aide, nervously adjusting his tie. John nodded and turned from the window. At 55, with gray streaking his dark hair, he had not expected to become Earth's first ambassador to alien life. His years in international diplomacy had prepared him for difficult negotiations, but nothing could prepare anyone for this. Lisa Gonzalez waited for him in the hallway. At 42, she was one of the State Department's brightest diplomatic minds, with special focus on cultural exchange programs. "Ready to make history?" she asked with a small smile that didn't quite hide her nervousness. "As ready as anyone can be," John replied. "Let's not keep our new friends waiting." The transport beam felt like standing in warm water. One moment they were in a secure room at the White House. The next they were aboard the alien vessel in a large, circular chamber with walls that shifted colors like an oil slick in sunlight. 3 beings waited for them. They stood on 4 legs, with upper bodies that rose straight up like a centaur from Earth mythology. Their skin was pale blue, and their faces had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. No visible mouth, just small holes where a nose would be on a human. "Welcome," said the tallest one, the sound coming from a small device on its chest. "I am Xorlax, representative of the Zinthari Dominion and senior delegate of the Galactic Council." The second alien stepped forward. "Meet Vey of the Quillari Federation. We are pleased to welcome Earth to the galactic community." John stepped forward, exactly as they had practiced. "On behalf of the United Earth Government, we thank you for this historic meeting and look forward to peaceful relations between our worlds." The aliens looked at each other in a way that made John uneasy. "Yes, yes," said Xorlax, waving a 3-fingered hand dismissively. "Very nice. Now we have prepared the standard treaty for developing species. You will find the terms most generous." A holographic document appeared in the air between them. Lisa began reading immediately, her eyes growing wider with each section. This treaty would grant the Council control over Earth's resource development, limit our space travel, and place human representatives in non-voting observer status for 50 years. She whispered to John. "That's unacceptable," John said, keeping his voice steady. "Earth is a sovereign planet. We seek friendship as equals, not as a protectorate." The aliens made a strange sound that the translator converted to laughter. "Equals," Meepfa said. "Your species has barely managed to reach your own moon. You have much to learn before you can be considered equals." Xorlax nodded. "All developing species begin this way. The Council provides protection and guidance. In return, we help manage your resources for the benefit of all galactic citizens." "You mean you take what you want and give us what you decide we deserve," John said, his diplomatic training straining against his rising anger. "Such passion." Xorlax said, sounding amused. "This is why developing species require guidance." He motioned Cloud's judgment. A small panel opened in the wall, and another alien entered. This one was different, tall and thin with green skin that looked like tree bark. "The Council is waiting," it said. "Have they signed?" "Not yet, Zephyr," Meekfa replied. "They need time to understand their place." John and Lisa exchanged glances. This was not the first contact humanity had dreamed of. These weren't partners offering friendship. They were conquerors disguised as benefactors. "We will need to consult with our government," John said carefully. "This is a significant decision for our people." "Of course," Xorlax said with a gesture that somehow seemed condescending. "The developing always need time. We will escort you to your quarters while you consult." As they followed their alien guides deeper into the ship, Lisa leaned close to John. "We're in trouble, aren't we?" she whispered. John nodded slightly. "Yes, but they don't know humans very well if they think we'll just roll over and accept this. Not by a long shot." Kevin Wright had not slept in 36 hours. The lights in the Pentagon basement office burned his tired eyes as he stared at his computer screen. Something was wrong with the alien transmissions, and he knew it. "You should go home, Kevin," said General Martinez from the doorway. "The aliens aren't going anywhere." Kevin ran a hand through his short brown hair. "With respect, sir, there's something in these signals. I can feel it." The general sighed. "You have 12 more hours. Then I want you to sleep. That's an order." After the general left, Kevin returned to the transmissions that Earth had been picking up since the alien ship arrived. Most were open communications between the ship and the Galactic Council. But there were other signals, weaker and heavily encrypted. Kevin needed help. He picked up his phone and dialed a number. "Do you know what time it is?" answered a groggy female voice. "Amanda, it's Kevin. I need your help with some code breaking." Amanda Fisher groaned. "The sun isn't even up yet." "It's about the aliens," Kevin said. There was a pause. "I'll be there in 30 minutes. Amanda arrived with 2 large coffees. At 34, she was the National Security Agency's top code breaker. Her curly red hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she wore jeans and a sweatshirt with the NASA logo. "Show me what you've got," she said, handing Kevin one of the coffees. Kevin pulled up the strange signals on his screen. These began the day before the ship arrived. They're using some kind of quantum encryption, but there are patterns. Amanda sat down and began typing. Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard as she wrote new decryption algorithms. "This is like nothing I've ever seen," she muttered. "But every code has a key." They worked through the morning. By noon, Amanda had broken through the first layer of encryption. "Kevin, look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. "These aren't just routine communications. This is surveillance data." Kevin leaned closer. "Surveillance of what?" Amanda kept typing. "Of us. Of Earth. And according to these timestamps, they've been watching us for over 300 years. Kevin felt cold despite the warm office. 300 years. That's impossible. "Not for a civilization with their technology," Amanda said. "And there's more." As they dug deeper into the files, a disturbing picture emerged. The Galactic Council wasn't the benevolent organization it claimed to be. It was an empire that expanded by finding developing worlds, offering protection, and then slowly draining them of resources. "Look at this planet," Kevin said, pointing to a file labeled Proxima Centauri II. They signed the Council's treaty 200 years ago. Within 50 years, all their major mineral deposits were gone. Their civilization collapsed after a century. Amanda pulled up another file. And this one refused to sign. The Council declared them a threat to galactic stability. Their entire system was placed under quarantine. No ships in or out. They starved. Kevin stood up suddenly. "We need to contact John and Lisa. They need to know what they're really dealing with." "How?" Amanda asked. "They're on the alien ship. All communications are monitored." Kevin smiled for the first time in days. "Not all of them. Before they left, I gave John a quantum-linked communication device. The Council won't be able to detect it or decode it." Amanda began compiling all their evidence into a single data package. "We'll need to be careful with what we send. Too much data might trigger their systems." "Just the most important parts," Kevin agreed. "Enough to let them know the truth." As Amanda prepared the transmission, Kevin stared at the picture of Earth taken from the alien ship. From space, their world looked so peaceful, so vulnerable. "Do you think they stand a chance up there?" Amanda asked quietly. "Against an entire galactic government." Kevin thought about John Miller, about his reputation for standing firm when everyone else backed down. "If anyone can find a way, it's John," he said. "And humans have a history of surprising those who underestimate us." Amanda finished the data package and sent it through the quantum link. Now all they could do was wait and hope the message reached their friends in time. "The Council doesn't know who they're dealing with," Kevin said, watching the transmission confirm signal. "They're about to learn." The Galactic Council chamber was enormous. John Miller and Lisa Gonzalez sat at a small table that made them feel like children at the adults' dinner party. Around them, in rising circular tiers, sat over 200 representatives from different alien species. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that John couldn't tell which part was their face. "The Council recognizes the representative from Earth," announced the Council leader, a tall blue-skinned alien named Grex. His voice echoed through the chamber. Sorlax stood next to John and Lisa, acting as their sponsor to the Council. For 3 days, the humans had attended meetings, listened to speeches, and tried to negotiate better terms. Nothing worked. "Has the Earth delegation reviewed the protection treaty?" asked Grex. John stood. "We have, Council leader. We have some concerns we would like to address." A low murmur ran through the chamber. Most species simply signed whatever was put in front of them. "Concerns." Grex's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "The treaty is standard for all developing worlds. It has worked for thousands of years. Perhaps for others," John said carefully. "But humans value our independence. The treaty would effectively make Earth a controlled territory." Thorlax stepped forward. "Respected Council members, please forgive our new friends. They do not yet understand the complexities of galactic politics. Given time." "We understand perfectly," Lisa interrupted, standing beside John. "We've had enough time." John felt the small device in his pocket vibrate. The quantum communicator from Kevin was receiving a message. He casually put his hand in his pocket and pressed the receive button. "If I may," Thorlax continued, "the humans need our guidance. Their technology is primitive. Their society is divided. Without our protection, they would be easy prey for the unregistered species beyond Council space." While Thorlax spoke, John quickly read the message on the small screen in his pocket. His face remained calm, but his heart raced. Kevin and Amanda had discovered the truth about the Council. Everything they suspected was worse than they imagined. "Ambassador Miller," Grex called. "Do you have a response to Thorlax's assessment?" John looked at Lisa and gave her a small nod. She had seen the message too. "Actually," John said, his voice strong and clear, "I do have a response." The chamber fell silent. Even the translators seemed to hold their breath. "Humanity appreciates the Council's offer of protection. We appreciate being welcome to this chamber, but we have decided to decline your treaty." Gasps echoed through the room. Sorlax's skin changed from blue to a deep purple. "This is most unusual," Grex said, leaning forward. "Perhaps you misunderstand the benefits." "We understand perfectly," John said. He held up the small device from his pocket. "We understand that the Council has been monitoring Earth for centuries. We understand that worlds who sign your treaty end up stripped of resources, and we understand what happens to those who refuse." The Council chamber erupted in shouts and protests. Some representatives stood up, pointing and yelling. Others sat in shocked silence. "These are serious accusations," Grex said, his voice barely containing his anger. "How dare you? How dare we?" Lisa stepped forward. "How dare you pretend to offer friendship while planning to exploit our world? Earth is not some helpless planet for you to use and discard." John looked around the chamber. A few representatives looked away, unable to meet his eyes. Others watched with interest. One, the green bark-skinned alien named Zephyr, actually smiled. "We came here hoping to find friends among the stars," John said. "Instead, we found an empire disguised as a democracy. Humanity will find its own path." John nodded to Lisa. Together, they turned their backs on the Council table and walked toward the exit. The chamber exploded with noise. Sorlax shouted for guards. Grex pounded his gavel for order. "Stop them," someone yelled. But no one moved to block their path. Perhaps they were too shocked. Perhaps some secretly admired their courage. As they reached the doorway, John turned one last time to face the stunned council. "Earth does not bow," he said simply. Then they walked out, the massive doors closing behind them with a final echoing boom. The council chamber erupted into chaos the moment the doors closed behind the humans. Delegates jumped from their seats, shouting over each other. Some demanded immediate action against Earth, others called for calm. Sorlax's purple skin darkened further as he stormed to the center of the chamber. "This is unprecedented," he shouted, his translator struggling to keep up with his angry words. "No species has ever walked out of council negotiations. It is an insult to our 1,000-year traditions." Grex pounded his ceremonial staff against the floor, the booming sound eventually bringing some order to the room. "How did they know about our surveillance?" asked a small, insect-like delegate from the outer rim. "That information is classified at the highest level." "They must have broken our encryption," said Mitva, her 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "These humans are more advanced than we thought." A delegate from a gaseous species floated forward, the translation device in his containment bubble lighting up as he spoke. "The real question is what we do now. The humans know too much." Sorlax raised all 4 of his arms. "The answer is obvious. We must quarantine the Sol system immediately. No ships in or out. We cannot allow this defiance to spread to other developing worlds." Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. Quarantine was the standard response to uncooperative species. "I propose more," Mitva added. "We should send peacekeeping forces to ensure Earth's safety. For their own protection, of course." More delegates nodded. Peacekeeping was the Council's preferred term for military occupation. From the back of the chamber, a quiet voice spoke. "I believe that would be a mistake." The delegates turned to see Zephyr, one of the oldest members of the Council. His green, bark-like skin was weathered with age, and he rarely spoke at meetings anymore. When he did, most listened. "Elder Zephyr, you cannot possibly defend these humans," Sorlax said. "They have insulted the Council." Zephyr walked slowly to the center of the chamber, his movements deliberate. "I do not defend their actions," he said. "I merely suggest caution. You all focus on the insult, but you miss the important question. How did they get the information?" The chamber grew quiet. "In 3 days, they broke encryption that has protected our secrets for centuries," Zephyr continued. "Their bodies are fragile, but their minds are not. If they can do this in days, what might they do if we threaten their world?" A nervous murmur spread through the delegates. "Are you suggesting we do nothing?" Grex asked, leaning forward. "I am suggesting we learn more before we act," Zephyr replied. "Humanity may be more dangerous than they appear." Sorlax laughed, the sound harsh through the translator. "They have primitive weapons and only a few small ships that barely reach their own moon. What danger could they pose? Every predator in the galaxy underestimates his prey at least once," Zephyr said quietly. "Usually the last time." In a private meeting room away from the main chamber, the Council's intelligence chiefs gathered. They displayed holographic images of Earth's defenses, military bases, and weapon systems. "Their technology is at least 200 years behind the Council standard," said the Chief of Analysis. "But they advance quickly, and they are resourceful." "How did they break our encryption?" asked Grex, who had joined the meeting. "We don't know," admitted the intelligence chief. "But we've detected unusual quantum signals between their planet and our station. Someone on Earth helped the ambassadors." Grex paced the room. "If they share what they know with other developing worlds." He didn't need to finish the thought. For centuries, the Council had used the same tactics to control resource-rich planets. If those worlds united against them, the Council's power would crumble. "Find the source of the quantum signals," Grex ordered, "and prepare a special delegation to return to Earth. We will give the humans one more chance to accept our protection." "And if they refuse again?" asked the intelligence chief. Grex stared at the holographic image of the blue planet. Then we will protect them whether they want it or not. News of the walkout spread across Earth like wildfire. Video of John Miller and Lisa Gonzalez standing up to the Galactic Council played on every screen around the world. Some people panicked, fearing alien retaliation. Others celebrated the defiance. Most felt both fear and pride. President Samantha Rodriguez stood at the podium in the United Nations General Assembly. Leaders from every nation sat before her, their faces showing a mix of emotions. 3 days ago, our representatives took a stand for humanity's freedom, she said, her voice firm. They showed courage that makes us all proud. But now we must prepare for what comes next. John and Lisa sat behind her. They had returned to Earth on a small diplomatic shuttle, escorted by Council security who seemed eager to be rid of them. The Galactic Council will not accept our decision easily, President Rodriguez continued. For perhaps the first time in their long history, a developing world has refused their terms. We must expect a response. In the back of the room, Kevin Wright and Amanda Fisher listened carefully. Their work had made this moment possible, but they knew the danger wasn't over. I am calling for a United Earth Defense Initiative, the President announced. We must set aside our differences. The threat we face is to all humanity, not to any single nation. To everyone's surprise, there was little argument. Countries that had been enemies for decades now found common cause. Border disputes were put on hold. Military resources were pooled. After the session, Kevin was called to the President's office. There, he found John, Lisa, and several military leaders waiting. Mr. Wright, President Rodriguez said, your work uncovering the Council's true intentions was invaluable. We're promoting you to head a new extraterrestrial defense initiative. Kevin blinked in surprise. Thank you, Madam President, but I'm just an analyst. You're exactly what we need, John said. Someone who can think like they do, but stay loyal to Earth. Kevin nodded slowly. Then I want Amanda Fisher on my team. We couldn't have broken their encryption without her. Already done, the President said. She'll lead our technology division. In a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Amanda stood before a team of the world's best scientists and engineers. On the wall behind her were detailed scans of alien technology, taken secretly during the Council visit. Their faster-than-light drives work by bending space-time, she explained, pointing to various diagrams. But their approach is inefficient. I believe we can improve on their design. One of the engineers raised his hand. Even with these plans, it would take decades to build this technology from scratch. Amanda smiled. That's what the Council would expect. But we're not starting from scratch. She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared showing a partially built spacecraft in a hidden underground facility. This is the UES Defiance, she said. We've been working on it in secret since we detected the Council's first signals. With what we know now, we can complete it in 3 months. The scientists and engineers stared in amazement. The ship was unlike anything humans had built before. Will it be enough? Someone asked. It has to be, Amanda replied simply. In Washington, D.C., President Rodriguez met with John and Lisa one last time before they departed for different assignments. The Council will send another delegation, John warned. They'll try to sound reasonable, but they'll have military ships nearby. The President nodded. We'll be ready. Our satellite network has been enhanced to detect their approach. The most important thing, Lisa added, is that we stay united. The Council has always used division to conquer. They find the cracks in a society and widen them. President Rodriguez looked out the window at the clear blue sky. Somewhere up there, the Council was already planning their next move. In all our history, she said quietly, humans have fought each other over land, resources, ideology. Now we face something that sees us all the same way, as a resource to be harvested. Perhaps that's what we needed to finally come together. John looked at the President with respect. The Council has no idea what they've started. No, she agreed, but they're about to find out. 3 months passed quickly. Earth's nations worked together with a focus and unity never seen before. Old enemies shared technology. Scientists collaborated across borders. Military forces trained together for the first time. Captain Eric Daniels stood on the bridge of the U.S. Guardian, Earth's most advanced spacecraft before the alien contact. It was small compared to Council ships, but had been upgraded with new systems based on the alien technology Amanda Fisher had decoded. "Captain, we're detecting a ship entering the solar system," said his sensor officer, Lieutenant Susan Blake. "It's following the same route as the first Council vessel." Eric straightened his uniform. At 38, he was young for a captain, but his quick thinking had made him the natural choice to command Earth's first line of defense. "Alert command," he ordered, and put the ship on screen. The alien vessel appeared on the main display. It was smaller than the first ship, sleeker and painted with diplomatic markings. "They're broadcasting a message," Susan said. "Audio only." Eric nodded. "Let's hear it." "Attention Earth vessel," came a smooth voice. "This is Ambassador Grix of the Galactic Council. We come in peace to resume diplomatic discussions. Please escort us to your planet." Eric exchanged glances with his executive officer, Paul Rivera. They both knew what their orders were. "Ambassador Grix," Eric replied, "this is Captain Daniels of Earth Space Force. You are welcome to approach, but you must remain in high orbit. No landing or transport technology will be permitted." There was a pause before Grix responded. "That is unusual. The Council customarily meets on the planet's surface." "These are Earth's terms," Eric said firmly. "Accept them or return to Council space." In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Kevin Wright watched the exchange while monitoring deep space sensors. Amanda Fisher sat beside him, her eyes on a different screen. "There," she said suddenly, pointing to an anomaly at the edge of their sensor range. 3 ships holding position just beyond Neptune. Kevin leaned closer. "Military vessels." Amanda nodded. "Based on the energy signatures, heavily armed. They're trying to hide behind Neptune's magnetic field, but our new sensors can detect them." Kevin picked up a secure line to the Guardian. "Captain Daniels, we've detected 3 additional vessels at the edge of the system. Likely Council military ships." On the Guardian, Eric received the message but kept his expression neutral. The aliens would be watching. "Understood," he said quietly. Then, to Ambassador Grix, "We're sending coordinates for your permitted orbit. Please follow them exactly." The diplomatic ship moved slowly toward Earth, maintaining a respectful distance. Eric ordered the Guardian to escort them, keeping his ship between the aliens and Earth at all times. When they reached the designated orbit, Ambassador Grix requested a video conference with Earth's leaders. President Rodriguez agreed, but only with strict security protocols in place. The main screen in the White House Situation Room showed Ambassador Grix. Unlike Sorlax, he was from a species that looked almost human, except for his golden skin and large, entirely black eyes. "President Rodriguez," Grix said with a small bow, "the Council regrets the misunderstanding with your previous representatives. I am authorized to offer more flexible terms." The President sat straight in her chair, flanked by John Miller and Lisa Gonzalez. "We appreciate your journey here, Ambassador, but our position remains unchanged. Earth will not sign your treaty." Grix's smooth diplomacy cracked slightly. "Perhaps you misunderstand the benefits of Council protection. The galaxy can be a dangerous place for isolated worlds." "Is that a threat, Ambassador?" John asked. "Merely an observation," Grix replied. "There are many who would take advantage of a developing world with valuable resources, like the Council has done to dozens of other planets." Lisa asked. Grix's expression hardened. "I see your representatives remain misinformed." President Rodriguez leaned forward. "Ambassador, let me be clear. We know about the military vessels hiding beyond Neptune. We know about the Council's history with other worlds. If you've come to threaten us, don't waste your time." Grix blinked in surprise. Then his diplomatic mask fell away completely. "You leave us no choice," he said coldly. "The Council has authorized me to deliver an ultimatum. Join the Council and accept our protection, or face the consequences." Captain Daniels, listening from the Guardian, sent a message to command. "Military ships moving. They've dropped their camouflage." President Rodriguez looked directly at Grix. "And we have a message for the Council." She nodded to Captain Daniels, who appeared on a split screen. "Ambassador," Eric said calmly, "tell your military vessels to stand down, or we'll show you exactly what humans do when threatened." Ambassador Grix's face showed real shock for the first time. "You cannot possibly hope to stand against Council forces. Your weapons are centuries behind ours." "Are they?" Captain Daniels asked, his voice calm. "Perhaps you should check with your military ships." Grix pressed something on his wrist, likely contacting the hidden vessels. His expression changed from confidence to confusion. "What have you done?" he demanded. In the cold darkness beyond Neptune, the 3 Council warships had powered up their weapons systems, ready to move toward Earth. Their commanders were surprised when their sensors detected multiple small objects approaching at high speed from different directions. "Primitive missiles," one commander said dismissively. "Activate defense screens." But these weren't ordinary missiles. Designed by Amanda Fisher using reverse-engineered alien technology, they were much more. The objects split apart just before reaching the Council ships, releasing clouds of tiny drones. Each drone emitted a specific frequency that disrupted the alien shields. Before the Council commanders could react, their defense systems failed. Back in the command center, Amanda watched the sensor readings with satisfaction. "Shield disruption successful," she reported. "Phase 2 ready." Kevin nodded and spoke into his communicator. "Captain Daniels, you may proceed." On the bridge of the Guardian, Eric gave the order. "Launch the Firefly drones." From the Guardian and 6 other Earth ships positioned throughout the solar system, hundreds of small, glowing drones shot into space. These were Amanda's proudest creation. Tiny ships with propulsion systems more advanced than anything the Council had seen. The drones swarmed around the Council warships, attaching to their hulls and accessing their computer systems. Within minutes, the Council vessels were disabled, floating helplessly in space. "What is the meaning of this?" Grix demanded, his diplomatic veneer completely gone. President Rodriguez stood. "It means we're not as primitive as you thought, Ambassador. Your warships have been disabled, but not destroyed. We could have destroyed them." On a secure channel, Captain Daniels reported, "We've captured 1 Council vessel intact, Madam President. The crew has surrendered." John Miller stepped forward. "Tell the Council this, Ambassador Grix. Earth will not be intimidated, exploited, or colonized. We are offering your military crews safe passage home as a gesture of peace, not weakness." Grix looked stunned. "How? How did you advance so quickly?" "You underestimated us," Lisa said simply. "A common mistake when dealing with humans." In the Deep Space Monitoring Station orbiting Mars, technicians watched as the UES Defiance emerged from its hidden base within the asteroid belt. The ship was unlike anything humans had built before, sleek, powerful, and equipped with a revolutionary propulsion system. Defiance to command, came the voice of its commander. "We're ready to escort the Council ships to the edge of our system." The Defiance moved with astonishing speed, reaching the disabled Council warships in minutes rather than hours. Its appearance on their sensors caused even more panic among the Council forces. "That ship," one captured Council officer whispered to his guard. "Its drive signature. It's more advanced than our newest vessels." In the White House Situation Room, satisfaction showed on every face. The alien threat had been neutralized without bloodshed. "Ambassador Grix," President Rodriguez said, "you will return to the Council with a message. Earth is not joining your organization. We are not seeking conflict, but we will defend ourselves. And we are now broadcasting this message to every world in your database." John stepped forward again. Tell them this as well. Any species that wishes to trade or communicate with Earth as equals will be welcomed. Those who come with threats will be turned away. Amanda had connected Earth's new communication array to the Council network. John's words were being translated into hundreds of alien languages, reaching worlds across the galaxy. Humanity will not bow to tyranny, John continued, looking directly at Grix, in this star system or any other. Grix's golden face had turned pale. The Council will not accept this, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. Lisa smiled. They don't have to accept it. They just have to live with it. The diplomatic feed cut off. Earth had made its stand, and the stars were watching. Word of Earth's successful defense spread quickly through the galaxy. The Council tried to control the story, claiming it was a misunderstanding. But too many had seen the broadcast. For the first time in centuries, the Council's power was questioned openly. On a small agricultural world called Vexus, farmers stopped sending their harvests to Council ships. On the mining planet Durax, workers shut down operations. The spark of resistance that began with two humans walking out of a meeting had started a fire. In the Grand Council chamber, an emergency session was called. Attendance was poor. Many delegates had returned to their homeworlds to deal with local matters. Those who remained argued loudly about what to do. We must respond with force. Sorlax shouted, his skin now a deep, angry red. Crush this human rebellion before others follow their example. Neetva nodded. Agreed. Our authority must be absolute. From his seat at the back of the chamber, Zephyr watched with quiet interest. The Council was splitting apart, just as he had predicted. When the shouting reached its peak, he slowly rose and made his way to the center floor. The chamber quieted as he walked. I warned you, he said simply. I told you not to underestimate these humans. What would you have us do? Grex asked, his voice tired. Let them defy us without consequence. Zephyr looked around the chamber. I would have us adapt. For too long, the Council has ruled through fear and exploitation. Perhaps it is time for change. Back on Earth, John Miller and Lisa Gonzalez prepared for another journey to space. This time, they weren't going to face the Council. They were meeting representatives from 27 worlds who had reached out to Earth, seeking alliance. Nervous, Lisa asked as they boarded the Defiance. John smiled. A little. This is what we wanted, but it's happening faster than I expected. Captain Eric Daniels greeted them on the bridge. Ambassador, diplomat. Welcome aboard. We'll reach the neutral meeting point in 6 hours. The Defiance moved smoothly out of Earth orbit. In the observation lounge, John and Lisa found Kevin Wright and Amanda Fisher already waiting. The beginning of a new galactic coalition, Kevin said, looking out at the stars. Not bad for a developing species. Amanda laughed. The Council never understood what makes humans different. We don't just adapt to challenges. We thrive on them. The meeting point was an abandoned mining station in neutral space. Ships from many worlds gathered nearby, each sending representatives. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien, beings of crystal, gas, or energy. John and Lisa led the Earth delegation into the central chamber. There, waiting for them, was a surprise. Zephyr. Elder Zephyr, John said with a respectful nod. I didn't expect to see you here. The old alien's bark-like skin crinkled in what might have been a smile. The Council is fracturing, Ambassador Miller. Many of us have questioned its methods for years, but lacked the courage to speak out. You gave us that courage. Representatives from other worlds gathered around, eager to meet the humans who had stood up to the Council. A delegate from a water world spoke through bubbling translation devices, a crystalline being communicated through light patterns. Each had their own story of Council exploitation. We aren't here to build another Council, John told the gathering. We propose a true coalition, where each world retains its sovereignty but agrees to fair trade, mutual defense, and cultural exchange. The response was enthusiastic. One by one, The representatives shared their hopes for this new alliance. Lissa carefully noted each point, building a framework for cooperation that respected all. 3 days later, the UES Defiance departed with the first draft of the Galactic Coalition Charter. Aboard were not just the human delegation, but representatives from 7 other worlds who asked to visit Earth. On the bridge, Captain Daniels set course for home. "Where next after Earth?" he asked John. John looked at the star map, at all the worlds that had been under Council control for centuries. "Everywhere," he said. "The galaxy is changing, and we're going to help it change for the better. Humanity has found its place among the stars, not as subjects, but as equals. Not through conquest, but through courage." Lisa joined them, watching the stars streak by as the Defiance accelerated. "The Council couldn't imagine a galaxy where power was shared," she said. "Their failure of imagination became our opportunity." As Earth grew larger in the view screen, John thought about how much had changed in such a short time. All because 2 humans had the courage to walk out of a room when everyone expected them to bow down. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "the bravest thing you can do is just walk away."